Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. In this quick video, we're going to take you through one of our new top 30 US equities pairs. People have been asking for an example, and we're very happy to give you one. So this is a pair we discovered while doing a backtest on the financials sector, asset management subsector of the US market. And the first thing we're going to do is take a quick peek at which two companies we chose. The first is Janus Henderson Group. It's traded on New York Stock Exchange. The second is State Street Corporation. It's also traded on New York Stock Exchange. Janus has got a market cap of about 5 billion, a beta of 1.3, and a PE ratio of 1.49. That's a trailing 12 months PE. The State Street Corporation has a 26 billion market cap, a beta of 1.53, and a trailing 12 months PE of 14. We chose them despite their market cap discrepancy because the market views them in a very similar fashion. We'll take a quick peek at financial ratios in a second. First off, let's just see where they are. So Janus Henderson is on the European side of the pond. It's in London, England, and State Street is in Boston, Massachusetts. These are two companies that essentially do the same thing, though State Street has a little bit more of a wider business model. So State Street does for institutional investors custody, asset management products, and it goes across the entire spectrum: mutual funds, alternative assets, and the like. Janus Henderson does the same thing for institutions, but also for retail clients and high net worth clients. And so they do equity, fixed income, balanced mutual funds, as well as real estate and private equity. So again, very similar types of businesses. And if you want to look at statistics in Pair Trade Finder, you can pull those up side by side with Yahoo Finance, which we'll do right now. And we looked at a couple of those statistics, but let's just take a look at in a bit more detail how the market values them. We want to see that they're valued in a similar fashion. So for Janus, forward PE is 10 times. Forward PE on State Street is 11.5. Very similar. Price to sales on the two is almost the same, 2.1 versus 2.2. And price to book, these are asset management firms, that's an important metric, is 1 time versus 1.2 times. And that says in a general fashion that the market views these franchises in a very similar way. Hence, we chose them as a fundamentally correlated set of companies to run a backtest on. So before we check the backtest results, let's quickly review the group settings that go into the new top 30 US equity pairs. 100-day look backs, we have a 1-layer 2.5 standard deviation entry and a 0.80 standard deviation exit stretch. 10 basis points of commission slippage in the backtest results. We look back over 3 years and we have a 60 days maximum days in trade. The results of that, well, there were 5 trades over those 3 years. You get fewer trades when you use a wider entry stretch. And we're using 2.5 versus 2 on our other sets of top 30 pairs. So you only get 5 trades. However, what you see over those 3 years is that there's an 80% correlation. There's a 0.99 co-integration. So they're highly co-integrated. And despite having only 5 trades, it still delivered a 12% compound annual growth rate unlevered on the capital. And it had only a 2.8% drawdown, so almost no drawdown at all. It delivered $800 of average net profit, about the same in median, and importantly 100% were winners. The other thing that's very important is that it was a very efficient pair to trade. The average days in trade were only 12 days. And what we love about this equity curve, bottom left to top right, is when you look at these 5 trades, you can see that there was almost no drawdown at all on any of them. So you got into the trade and bam, it came good. And it happened 5 times in a row over 3 years. So if this were to call another signal, that's something we would be very interested in looking at. The ratio over the last 3 years, you can see it's meandered. However, it stayed basically in the same range, and you have lots of zero crossings of the daily ratio across its moving average. So that's something we look for, and it looks great. If we look at the share price graphs, this is Janus Henderson, this is State Street. They're pretty close to a mirror image of each other over the last year. And if we look at the relative performance, you can see the obvious correlation. They're always moving in a similar direction. But every time they diverge in relative performance, they reconverge. They diverged here, almost reconverged here, diverged here, almost reconverged here. This is the co-integration that we're talking about. It's just so important in pair trading. Diverged here, almost reconverged, and now they're basically tracking parallel to each other. So that looks great over the last year. We would like that chart very much. here's a quick run through the pair charts. These charts have been jigged to be over the last 3 years, so you see the entire back test period. And you can see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades, all winners. And importantly, they all came good very quickly, which is what so many of the good pairs do. Is, you know, the pair doesn't go way against you. Although a lot of them do, we're doing reversion to mean. But these ones came good very quickly, and that's something which is very comfortable to trade. The plus minus chart, you can see that anytime we got over about 2.5, it was calling entries as the settings dictate. But that there is sort of a resistance level here around 3.5. So that's something to look for. There's also a support level around 3 on the plus minus chart. If we go to the percent from mean, you can see this far more clearly. There's a channel here that this runs in that goes between about 3 and 3.5% divergence of percent from mean, and that's every time it's got there, both -3, -3.5, and +3, +3.5. It very quickly reverts back to the mean, and that's something we love to see. And then on the RSI, you see every one of these trades happened at an extreme, both the ones coming from below and the ones from above, with the exception of one, and that's something we like to see as well, but we'd have to look for divergences if you include that in your trading plan. And to do that, we'd have to look at this in more detail. But that's a quick summary, guys. I just wanted to show you what one of these pairs looks like, and we spent a lot of time finding 30 of these. So the new top 30, 2.5 entry stretch, 0.8 exit stretch. Happy trading.